This video is sponsored by Squarespace.
Want to be in the intro? Yes, she does. Luna wants you to know, what's one thing that can make your videos more cinematic? What's one thing that can make your videos more cinematic? She looks so sad. Oh my God, she's so distracting, but she's so cute. So one thing that makes your videos more cinematic, and sometimes even your pictures for that matter, is something that I haven't gone without in pretty much any YouTube video I've done in the last few years. It's something that I would recommend any filmmaker, cinematographer, videographer have in their kit. It's something that makes your footage look more expensive. Once I found these, I was like, this is the effect that I have been looking to achieve my entire career thus far. And this is like, I don't know, 8 years ago now, when I was like kind of still learning. They range in price, but they don't always have to be super expensive, especially if you're starting out and want to experiment. And that thing that makes your videos more cinematic is a mist filter, or a black pro mist filter. Now let's talk a little bit about what this is and what it actually does for your footage. The first thing that a mist filter does is it softens details. And why I like to use them on my footage is because I would love to soften details in my face. You know those days where you feel like you're starting to look a little disheveled and you want your skin to look nice and smooth? Or maybe you're shooting someone that has a few fine lines and imperfections and things like that. This softens out all of that. Another thing that it does is it reduces contrast. And so if you're looking for a less harsh transition between the light and the dark areas of your image, for example, if you're shooting with harsh sunlight, then this is something that's also really going to help you out. Also, when you're filming a bright light source, it creates different halos and different flares. So if you're shooting at night, for example, and you're shooting a neon sign, it's really going to make that neon light glow. Or for example, if you pay attention to this window on, which is my right side and your left side, it's also going to create a really nice soft glow from that natural light source. The other thing it does, and this is kind of along the same lines of softening the image, is that it reduces the overall sharpness of your image. So that can be something that you're looking for if it's a storytelling technique that lends itself to what you're trying to produce. Or in some cases, it can be something that you're not looking for if you're trying to retain the detail in your image. So it's got to be definitely a stylistic choice, and that is where the difference between regular mist filters and black pro mist filters come into play. But before we get into those differences, I'm going to talk to you a bit about why you might reach for a mist filter and in what scenarios.
You enjoying this video? Cool. Couple things I'm gonna ask you to do then. 1, maybe subscribe to my channel. 2, listen to me talk about Squarespace for a minute. Thanks. I used Squarespace to make my website. I legitimately did, even before they paid me to do this ad. The template I chose was clean and stylish, and I literally built it myself. I really struggle with design, but Squarespace made it super easy for me to showcase my portfolio beautifully. The platform is super easy for me to customize, update regularly, and I can get analytics about the purchases made on my digital products through my online store. And I run my own business, so I don't have time to learn a whole new platform. All right, so head over to Squarespace for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, you can use this code right here to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thanks, Squarespace. Now back to the video.
You would reach for a mist filter when it's a stylistic choice. So it works for both video and photo, but essentially you're trying to create a desired look. You're trying to, like I said earlier, smooth out wrinkles and fine lines, or you're trying to make a certain light glow, or you're trying to even out the contrast in your image, or you're just trying to create like a dreamy look to your footage. So there are different levels of diffusion that will add to this general effect. If you're trying to create a scene that's maybe more romantic, then a mist filter might be really nice. If you're looking for something to look a little retro and really film-like, then you also might reach for a mist filter that's on the higher end. So something that's a little bit stronger to give it that really softened film look. It's something you have to be conscious of when you're shooting and what level of diffusion that you are choosing, because it's really easy to shoot this in camera and add that level of diffusion immediately in camera. But if you're choosing a higher level of diffusion, it's not really something you can take away later. So you want to make sure that you know why you're choosing this level of diffusion and you know the desired effect it's going to have on your footage, because you can't really add that contrast or that sharpness back later on. But you can necessarily add a little more diffusion later if you want. Once you get into color correction, you can add halation or several other effects that will give you that level of like soft, beautiful, glowy, romantic dreamlikeness. And when it comes to photo, we actually have an entire tutorial dedicated to creating this effect in post if you don't have one of these. So if you guys want to take a look at that, you can find that linked in the cards and in the description box below. Now, which filters should you choose? Now, there are two main kinds. There are regular pro mist filters, and then there are black pro mist filters. Now, there are tons of different brands that have their own advantages and disadvantages depending on the types of glass, because as we know, when it comes to lenses and filters, the types of glass are very important. I can't possibly cover every brand of filter in this video today, but the ones that I usually have on hand, if it's just a straight mist, are the Moment Cinebloom Diffusion Black Pro Mist filters. And let's talk about the differences now between black pro mist and regular mist. Essentially, what regular mist filters do is they add that same level of diffusion, but over your entire image. Your lights are going to be nice and diffused, and your darks are going to be nice and diffused, but you're going to lose sharpness in your entire image because of this. Now, when it comes to black pro mist filters, because they actually use little flecks of black in the mist filter, it's keeping those blacks, those shadows super crisp and maintaining all of the sharpness in those areas, and it's only adding diffusion or that kind of like halation or soft glowy effect to the lighter points of your image. So when it comes to this window, it would only add that diffusion to the window. Things like my shirt and the picture frames up there would all remain nice and crisp and sharp. And that's usually why I'm reaching for a black pro mist filter as opposed to a regular mist filter. So I don't actually even have any regular mist filters in my office because it's not really an effect I've needed to achieve so far. So all of the pro mist filters come in different strengths, and the Moment filters I have on hand come in 5%, 10%, and 20%. Not these filters, but some other brands offer them in fraction form. If you had a 1/8 or 1/4 or 1/2, if you know your fractions, that would make sense to know that 1/8 would be the least amount of strength or the least amount of mist, 1/4 would be more, and 1/2 in that case would be the most amount of mist or the most amount of diffusion you could add. I've talked a lot about what these look like, and I haven't actually shown you for this particular setup. We are using a variable ND filter with mist right now, so I'm gonna show you what just these mist filters look like. So you're probably gonna notice the colors are gonna change in a second because we're gonna be just using mist and not ND. If you don't know what I'm talking about when I'm mentioning ND, I have an entire other video on different filter types, so that'll be up here. You can go watch that. Right now, we're gonna take that off and we're gonna show you what 5%, 10%, and 20% black pro mist diffusion looks like. Here you go. There's 5, there's 10, and there's 20. It's probably way brighter. Whee! So for science, we brought out this aperture light so you can see the difference. So this is what no pro mist at all looks like. Pay special attention here to how my skin looks, how this light looks, and how the light from the window coming in looks. And now we're gonna put on 5%. Now this is with 5% black pro mist, and again, pay attention to how my skin looks, the little bit of glow around this light, and the light coming through the window. All of the blacks in the image are still sharp. All right, this is with 10% black pro mist on. Again, way more glow here. My face is super smooth, and the window looks even glowier than before. Glowy, wow. Whoa, that's a lot. Again, I am super smooth now, but all of the blacks are still nice and crisp. This is so glowy, the glowiest. Window's nice and diffused, but you can really see it with the light. That's crazy. Everything is super soft, and the contrast has definitely been brought down quite a bit. How glowy I am. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys have any other requests as to talking about different filters and seeing some different tests, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video and supporting my channel, because if you liked it, it would really mean a lot if you gave this video a like, and of course subscribe if you're not already so you get all the updates on everything that comes out immediately. Hit the notification bell, because that's going to be your best way to get notified on every video that I post from now on. And that's all. Adios.